Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a week of Linux news for the 6th of August 2017. Good news from gaming on Linux, the Linux desktop share has increased to an all-time high in July, according to one measure, and we're now up to a rather meagre 2.53%. Hey, isn't that lower than what Pornhub said we're on? But hey, we're taking various metrics from all sorts of places, so we're somewhere between, 1% and, maybe up to 100%. Somewhere between. From the Ubuntu fridge, Ubuntu 16.04.3 long-term support has been released. So this is just an update to the kernel, so a newer hardware enablement stack, newer software, and, more bug fixes have been done. So we're over a year into the operating system, and we still have another few years left on it, since we're promised support up until 2021 with 5-year support time. Similar news from Ubuntu, but I was rather surprised at their warning here. Warning, 1404 LTS to 1604 LTS upgrades are problematic and should not be attempted by the average user. What? Well, that's a bit late in the day to say now because 1404 is only supported for 3 years on Ubuntu. Well, I know most of the operating system is supported for 5 years, but the desktop is now end of life. So the recommendation is to install a fresh copy of Ubuntu 16.04.3 instead. From Softpedia, Linux Mint 18.3 under development with hybrid sleep support for Cinnamon, as well as more features. The software sources tool now supports high-definition displays, HIDPI, and is now ported to GTK3. So Linux Mint creator Clement Lefebvre recently published yet another monthly newsletter to inform the community behind the progress. So Linux Mint 18.2 Sonia is already out, with all 4 officially supported flavours released. That includes the Cinnamon, Mate, XFC and KDE desktops. And the development was kicked off with a port of the software source's in-house built tool to support latest GTK3 toolkit, along with support for the high-definition displays, HIDPI, as well as hybrid sleep support for Cinnamon desktop environment. Also, it looks like login screen was made more configurable. Options were added for automatic login, as well as the ability to hide the user list and enter usernames manually. A useful feature in the corporate environment for LDAP users. From OMG Ubuntu, some updates on the Ubuntu 17.10 development, and phew, it looks like it will have a desktop dock of sorts. What, we're going back to Unity now, are we? So Ubuntu 17.10 will have a dock, but it's not dashed a dock. Yeah, of course, like Canonical would ever want to reuse anything from the community and make their lives easier. So it's currently unknown how it will look and which side of the screen it will be on. Well, probably the left-hand side, with maybe the option to move it to the bottom if the Chinese help on development. And we don't know what workflow features it will make available. But the fact a visible dock on a desktop will be there out of the box for users is good to hear. Yeah, especially if you like the Unity desktop. The results of Ubuntu GNOME desktop survey showed that 80% of Ubuntu users say they find the dash-to-dock extension useful. Well, it's good. It's good that Canonical are actually listening to market forces instead of just doing what Mark Shuttleworth says. And more news from OMG Ubuntu about Ubuntu 17.10 that Wayland is confirmed as a default compositor. Hang on, what am I meant to do as an NVIDIA user? Go without, I guess? So Wayland will ship as the default display server in Ubuntu 17.10. Although always the intended plan, Ubuntu devs did express doubts about making the switch last month, with the Ubuntu desktop team lead Will Cook saying he felt Wayland isn't ready yet. Yeah, I agree, but that's more NVIDIA's fault as to why it's not fully ready. But didn't GNOME have this option to switch already on the desktop, going with X11 or Wayland? So why the change? Surely you should just go with what GNOME are dictating as a default. Good news though, the X11 or Xorg session is still included. If you're an NVIDIA user, a big gamer, or happen to be using hardware that this next-gen display server tech doesn't yet play with, don't panic. Although Wayland will be default, it isn't yet compulsory. Good, yes, so it'll fall back to the X11 display manager. I suppose that's how I've been using things already with KDE. Although it starts defaulting to Wayland now, it does fall back to X11. From Torrent Freak, Russia bans uncensored VPNs, proxies and Tor. Yeah, I know we had a bit of news like this a couple of weeks or so ago, but yeah, a bit more of an update on it. A new bill has just been signed into law by President Putin, requires proxies, VPNs, Tor and other anonymizing services to prohibit access to blocked domains. If these services fail to comply, they will be blocked themselves. Search engines also face sanctions for linking to blocked sites. So, Russia turning into China. The Great Firewall of China. The Great Firewall of Russia as well. So Russia has swiftly become a world leader when it comes to website blocking. Tens of thousands of websites are blocked in the country on copyright infringement and a wide range of other grounds. However, as is often the case, not all citizens willingly subject themselves to these type of restrictions. On the contrary, many use proxies or anonymizing services such as VPNs or Tor to gain access. In recent months, the Russian government has worked out legislation to crack down on these circumvention tools as well. And local media reports that President Putin has now signed the proposed bill into law. Under the new law, local telecoms watchdog Roskomnadzor will keep a list of banned domains while identifying sites, services and software that provide access to them. They will then try to contact the operators of the services, urging them to ban blocked websites or face the same fate. Wow, that's pretty harsh. I hope that most other countries in the world don't catch on to the same trick, otherwise the internet will become a bit sparse and PG rated, I guess, would be the term I would use. Search engines will be required to remove links to blocked resources from their results, as these would encourage people to access prohibited material. Search engines that fail to comply with the new requirements face a $12,400 penalty per breach. Per breach for how long? Month? Day? Week? That could get expensive very quickly. And for this week's stupid news, goes to the city where I live, in Cardiff. So there's this billboard in the shopping centre that some lazy sysadmin left his TeamViewer credentials on show. 4chan Paul had a bit of fun with it, and as we can see, Big Brother is watching you. Very true statement. Of course people object to that now, but I don't realise. What else do we have? Warning, this is a Sharia-controlled zone. No alcohol, no gambling and no porn. Perhaps a little bit true in Cardiff now. Oh, certain places in Cardiff. Yeah, Nazi symbol, why not? And Pepe. Well, no harm done there. So I wonder what people are most outraged about. The Big Brother or the Nazi swastika? There's another one here, Peter Hitchens. Of course, the BBC were quick to report that they had been hacked. Yeah, no, leaving TeamViewer credentials on display is not hacking. But won't someone think of the children, though? Oh, it's a shock all this is. South Wales Police said they received a number of calls relating to the incident. A spokesman added, "We alerted the City Council and will investigate any crimes which may have been committed." But upon an update from the BBC, security features may not have been used. Oh, really? Oh, that was pretty obvious, wasn't it? But the update just confirms what we already saw in the Twitter post, that the 9-digit ID and password were displayed on the screen of the billboard. Everyone who saw the screen could have gained access to the system. Yeah, good hack. Well, that was the week of Linux news. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.